Hello, my name is Hannah, and today we are building a house in Brindleton Bay that is only using base game and cats and dogs, which I thought was a lot of fun. Originally, I was going to just do base game, and then I looked at it and I was like, I am building a house in Brindleton Bay. I have already used cats and dogs. What am I doing? And then I was like, okay, we're in Brindleton Bay, and so I was just like, we'll just use cats and dogs. And then I was like, what if I just like don't do limited pack? Cause like it doesn't matter that much. And I was like, no, I have committed. We are doing cats and dogs and base game only. And it definitely it looks like a limited pack when you get to the living room. Everywhere else is fine. But the living room, it's just like boring. And it definitely is, like, I think Cats and Dogs was, like, one of the first, like, builds, or packs, that's the word, that I ever bought. So it definitely looks like something I would have built when I just had that pack, which I've talked about several times when I do, like, limited pack kind of stuff. When I do stuff with limited packs that I've had, like, with no other packs, like, at a time where I just had base game and Cats and Dogs, like, stuff like that, it looks like something I would have built back then, which is kind of boring because I didn't know how to build for most of the time back then. I guess like beginning in 2018 is definitely that was a bit ago. That was like 3 years ago, like 3.5 years ago. Oh wow, that's a long time. But like, definitely has changed a bit in my build style. Also, you'll see that I made quite a few mistakes in this build with the pack limitation kind of thing, because I wasn't really trying that hard for a period of time during there. And I also was not completely focused. I was, I think I was stressed that day. I don't really know. But I didn't really want to build, but I was like, I want to build, but I don't want to build, they're different. But I was like, I can build, and I did build this, and it was pretty good. But I had so many difficulties with the outside. You'll see that I was trying to add like a fancy porch thing. That did not work out. That entirely is not there anymore. And then also when you get to the floor plan, I literally think there is probably 5 minutes of just floor plan. Well, maybe not. Like 3 minutes sped up, but it literally probably took me 15 minutes to get a floor plan. Like in real life, when I sped it up, it's probably like 2. Okay, so it's not actually that long, but it felt like forever, and it took so long. I was having a bunch of difficulties. It was not fun. It was not fun at all. I almost like scrapped it because I was like having so many difficulties trying to get a floor plan that actually worked. Also, I was having difficulties with the porches because they look so small, but they're actually not. Like, they've got like a singular block from the door to the stairs, which I don't typically like, but then the roof looked weird if I made it any bigger, so I was just like, whatever, just leave it one block. You can see one of the first mistakes is right here. You can see that the floor is not base game nor cats and dogs. I think it's from Eco Lifestyle. So, that's definitely an error, but I, at this point, was just like not trying that. I don't think at this point I had like fully agreed in my mind that I was doing base game and cats and dogs. I was just kind of like building. But you can see that I go through a bunch of floor plans, and none of which I liked. And also, I think I had difficulties with the stairs in this one. I don't know if that's very obvious when you look at it. But then you can see that I'm like placing like filler like living room furniture and like a kitchen, and I'm just like, I don't know where to put any of this. The floor plan I ended up with is also kind of weird, because I wanted like a bedroom or like an office kind of space, and then like bathrooms, and then everything to fit. But this, like, the downstairs is kind of big, and it's weirdly shaped. It's like very odd. It's definitely strange, and I probably could have changed the outside, but at that point I had done most of the outside, which I don't normally do because that is a dumb idea to like, I like full on have plants outside. Like, I would never do that, because like, if you have any like want to change like any of the walls and you're not able to, which I was very like stressed or tired or something when I built this, so that's probably why. Yeah, so it just was not a fun time, and so I did eventually figure it out. It just took a while to figure it out, which is fine sometimes, but sometimes it takes so long that you're just like, figure out the floor plan, okay, just like get it over with, I don't care anymore, just floor plan. So yeah, and then also I think I have 2 other things that are not base game of cats and dogs. I think I used like Parenthood mirrors in the bathroom, which I did change. I changed all of this after I finished recording though, I think, because I was like saving it to the gallery or like saving it to my library, and it was like, this is not cats and dogs, and so I changed it. And so I think I had one more thing. I don't remember what that was, so I have no idea. Couldn't tell you, but there is something else I don't remember, so if you see something else, it's probably the one thing. But I did change it, and it is on the gallery with just the cats and dogs and the base game stuff. And I have now been talking about this build for 5.5 minutes. That's really fun. That's really fun right there. But I'm going to move on because it is not fun talking about the build for that long. Cannot talk about it for any longer. I don't know how I talked about my build for the entire build or for the entire time. Like the first month I did that was not fun. But for today's story, I actually had 2 things planned, but I honestly do not think that I have time to do 2 things. So we're going to start with the first story. Well, story kind of thing, just topic. But I've talked about the fact that I did like a zoo camp for a while as a child several times. I think it's been a while though, I don't really remember. I have like 270 videos, so I honestly have no idea if I have talked about it before or when I had talked about it. Well, not an if. Some of the other topics are an if, but I definitely know I've talked about this. I've talked about this multiple times. But I have not talked about after camp before, because that's a thing. So when I went to camp, it ended at like 3:34 maybe. I don't really remember. Somewhere around then. It's been a bit. But after I finished with camp, they would like walk us like, I'd say like 1/4 of a mile just like down from the zoo. Well, it's still in front of the zoo. Just like from the entrance of the zoo, they would walk us to like this field with a tree and then a parking around it. That's where we would get picked up. But most of the kids would get picked up within 10 minutes of camp ending. Me, however, it took like 45 minutes typically for me to get picked up. Probably my parents were working a lot of the time, so I would stay there a lot actually, just like for a bunch of time, and I would just do things, mostly games, because it's the middle of the summer and so you just don't really do anything. So I played a lot of games. And also when it was like not like good weather to stay outside, we would go to like a building that is currently like they full on renovated it. There's now monkeys in there, so like it's not that anymore. But when I did like zoo camps there, it was like a game room for the zoo camp that we did, and it was just like where we hung out, and it was also the like check-in point when it was like raining outside. So that's really fun. I remember we played Mafia, which is like a game. I really liked that. I don't really want to explain how that works though, so it doesn't really matter. We played that. We played a lot of card and board games because we didn't really have anything. There wasn't really much to do. I remember there was like it's like just kid like toys and stuff with like blocks and stuff. It wasn't like anything like that extravagant. There's like a lot of like stuff you would put together, like block type things, but like toys like that, like little plastic things that you like snap together. It's like stuff like that. I think it had like beads or something too, like not very much, but I spent so much time there that it was just like, yeah, I just play with my sticks and stuff and put it together. Yeah, and it wasn't boring, but it felt really long some days because I was staying there for like 45 minutes after camp to get picked up. I know that I did I was like probably 12 or 13ish when I stopped doing that. Stopped going to the camps. So I was like probably like between the ages of like 7 and 12. I would do this like almost every single summer, and I would just like sit there. And so it was fun. Like the camp was fun. I definitely didn't dislike the camp. I've talked about that before. I loved going to the zoo camp and stuff. But then I would just spend a bunch of time after camp just away. And then also when we were outside, I haven't talked about when we were outside very much, but we were outside a lot of the time. Especially when I was younger, we went outside more. When I was older, we did more inside, after school stuff. Or not after school, after camp. Wow, that's really, you cannot talk, it's fine. But I would sit next to the tree, and I would like draw, or I would like write on, because we got like papers and stuff, like, or I had papers or something, I don't know, but I had papers, I remember that. and so I would just like spend a bunch of time doing that. But we are getting to the end of the video, so I think I'm going to end my talking there. So I post a new video every day of the week, so you can watch another video tomorrow. Bye.